Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is Deadly Class, Season 1, Episode 8, The Clampdown. Pretty good episode. We had a little bit of backstory and another character. And yeah, I don't know how... I'm not too sure which one I like better. If I like these close quarter ones where we're kind of set in one location, or if we're doing the road trip, or what as of yet. I really liked last week's episode with, the Scorpio slasher and being out in the town. So I thought that was kind of fun. But this one was pretty damn good as well, I have to admit. So before I get into it here, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you haven't seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can leave comments down in the comment section and, talk about it there as well. So, and thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. So, welcome to people in the chat. I know people are lurking there. I see some people lurking. Where do we start off at? We start off with Madame Gao, and she's leafing through Marcus's journal, one of his journal books that he's got drawings in and all this kind of stuff. And we find out that she's gotten it through Shab. Shab is the one who has picked it up, and she says, "Where did you get this?" And she goes, "I rifle through the room every time he's gone. Basically, I look through everything." And she says, "This is good stuff, put it back where you found it." And she goes, "Of course, give me more information when you can." So, and he crawls back out being the worm that he is. Up in the graveyard, we see the rats playing Monopoly with Willie and Maria being present as well. And I love the conversation. They're talking about how punks are the only survivors in post-apocalyptic movies because they're the ones that are most ready for it. They're so disillusioned by everything. They see it coming, and so they know how they can survive. They're the survivors of all this. And we see Saya pop up, and she brings Marcus aside and tells him about Yukio's death. And Maria comes by being a little bit jealous. She goes, "What do you want my boyfriend for?" kind of thing. And she takes him aside. And basically, Saya tells Maria that she's just teaching him to duck, as we saw from last episode when he got an arrow fired at him from Maria's bow. Saya also tells Willie about Yukio's death and how she's got to look out for, find the killer. Excuse me. And yeah, it's very kind of awkward. Yes, hashtag menage awkward. I'll get to that in a little bit too when we get here. I'll get to the chat too, because damn, that was freaking awkward. But anyway, Maria tells Marcus that she killed Yukio, and that it's great because then she can blame Yukio for Chico's death, and then El Diablo will be off of her back. But yeah, so she thinks. And Marcus reminds her, he goes, "Yeah, fat chance of that happening. Basically what's going to happen is that if they think that Yukio killed Chico, then they're going to know that they're going to basically think that the Saya's group actually put out a hit on him. And so they're going to go after Saya as well." And he takes off in a, pretty quick, because Saya is more than likely next on their list. So Shab is telling his parents over the phone. He's talking to his parents over the phone. He's giving more information, and he doesn't realize that Chester has his parents. And he hears the dog barking in the background. And he says, "When do we get a dog?" And then they hang up on him. He's like, "Hello, Mom?" And so Shab is the one who's been feeding Chester all this information. Remember, Chester said he had an inside person that was on this. It's Shab, because Chester is using Shab's parents against him. Yeah, Murifanobi. Yeah, the Yukio. Hello, Yukio. Yeah, that whole thing from Deadpool 2, which was good. And I forgot, Petra, the girl who plays Petra, was actually in Deadpool and was injured on the set, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, that was kind of a weird little thing. I was just looking up some stuff there. Maria goes to talk to Saya, of course, at this point, and in the hallway. And that's when Juan decides that it'd be a great time to attack Saya. And Saya fends him off, of course, throws him down on the ground, and blames Maria for being a distraction so that Juan could kill her. And the monks come in before anything bad can happen and just start sequestering everyone, throwing people into rooms, and basically put them on lockdown. And they're throwing them in rooms together, even if it's not their rooms at this point. So yeah, it's shit is on at this point, because then now they found out that Yukio is dead, and Master Lin's pretty pissed at this point. He wants to find out who did it, and that's why he's throwing everybody in the pressure cooker, if you will. So, excuse me, we end up with Maria, Juan, and Brandy in one room, which not a good combination. Willie, Victor, and Marcus in another room. Saya, Shab, and Saya, one of Saya's girls, I can't remember her name is. They didn't actually name her. Lex, Billy, and Petra in another room. And we have Saya's loyalty being questioned by her, her group member there, saying that, she should have taken out Maria when she had the chance. She's being soft. And Saya's like, I'm handling this my way. Don't, really don't get involved in this. But everyone knows that her and Maria are friends. Yeah, it's probably one of the worst kept secrets at this point. Kind of like Maria and Marcus's relationship. Yeah, very, very bad at this point. In the meantime, Gao, she's questioning Lin what he's doing. He's like, well, he talks about flaying the skin. And just enough to keep them alive. And basically that's what he's doing. He's kind of torturing the students, putting them in this pressure cooker situation to make them stew, and turn against each other, kind of thing. And Gao changes things around a little bit and says that, once the Cabal finds out about his daughter, they're going to want retribution at this point. So she tells him, give me your daughter and I'll protect her, kind of thing. And she says, I'll take her and protect her. And Lin is pretty pissed off at this thing. I do not need to take an occasional token on iron lung. So we have Lex, of course. He's hitting on Petra here and there. He's just being kind of a crass pig, as Lex is normally being, saying that, he'll date Petra if Billy won't, and all this kind of stuff. And does she fancy a shag and all that kind of stuff? And he's also huffing a lot of glue. He's huffing glue out of a plastic purse, which I thought was pretty funny, which leads him to give us a little story about how Lex came about. Basically, his dad, we know, is a dock worker, but we don't really know his whole backstory on this. And it turns out that his mom left when he was young, and he had two older brothers that were just basically shitheads. They were essentially just going out and causing all kinds of trouble. So his dad was, as he said, was a hero. Go out and work on the docks, bring home money. The two older brothers would actually steal from him and just use him, essentially. And he tried to be a saint around his dad, is what he said, but his older brothers were the ones that were raising him. So one night they stole his keys to the dock. They were doing it multiple nights. They would go to the dock and just boost all kinds of stuff out of the docks and sell them. They became a legend, as he says, until one night they get caught and they're running away. And one of the brothers pulls out a gun and shoots a guard, kills him. And Lex is the one that was holding onto the keys and his dad's ID and dropped it as they were running away. So his dad ends up getting arrested and serving time for something that he did. Yeah. And his dad doesn't say anything about it. Basically, he takes the rap for it. So what Lex had done is he had fled England, came to the United States, ended up in San Francisco, was trying to get as far away as possible, ended up on the streets, similar to Marcus, got found by Saya and brought into the school, into King's Dominion. And yes, the backstories are actually really good, especially when they're doing this with the animated style of the comic, and it softens the blow quite a bit, because a lot of this stuff is, I mean, these are really shitty things that are happening to these kids, and by animating it, you're able to get past the censors, especially for a show that's on TV, like regular TV. Something on Amazon or Netflix or something like that, you won't have to worry about that. But yeah, you're having it on SyFy. Sure, you can say shit, fuck, all that kind of stuff, but they kind of draw the lines at other things that are going on here, like, you know, Billy being raped by his father, or not Billy, excuse me, Chester being raped by his father. So yeah, you know, things like that, of that nature. And we're getting this in every episode, so we're getting backstories. I'm waiting to hear for Victor's backstory and Brandy's backstory. I mean, we heard a little bit about Brandy's backstory, but I want to know how her brothers died, because I mean, that's going to be an interesting story as well, and it's going to be a fucked up story too. I have a big feeling about that. So yeah. So of course he comes to out of his stupor and he goes, "What the fuck? I'm blabbering on like Tammy Faye." And for those of you at home, Tammy Faye Baker, evangelist who is famous for basically crying on TV. She used to cry all the time and have mascara running down her eyes. And there used to be a fairly good parody done on SNL and God, and Living Color and all kinds of things. Yeah, the mascara with Tammy Faye was famous. I mean, she just would always have it running down her face. And who did it best? I think it might have been Mad TV that had they actually attached like fountains to one of the actresses' eyes and had just mascara pouring down her face. It was so bad. Oh, excuse me. So, in the meantime, Petra, you know, basically tells them both. She goes, she knows that Billy likes her, of course. And then she tells Lex, "You like me as well." She goes, "You know what? Since we're locked in here and I've always wanted to check it off my list, let's do a threesome." And they're like, "What? Huh?" She goes, "I know you both like me." She goes, "And this is what's going to happen." She goes, "Basically, if you want to, you know, if you want to have sex with me, it's got to be a threesome." She goes, "And I just, you know, you guys are fairly decent." She goes, "I'm not going to just fuck anybody, but yeah, I just want to check it off the list," kind of thing. And I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. So in the meantime, Willie over in Marcus's room calls Marcus on his bullshit and basically is telling him everything is about you. You know, it's nothing's about me, because Marcus was trying to turn it around and saying that you know, Willie was trying to monopolize the conversation and what's wrong with Willie's train of thoughts and things like that. And basically Willie turns it around and tells Marcus, you know, calls him on his bullshit. And he goes, "Dude, you're actually very self-centered." And he goes, "You didn't tell me anything of the real reason why we were in Vegas. And as a result of that, you fucked me over as well." And he goes, "Because it was all about you." So yeah, Movie Fanobi, you do need to actually watch that. There is a threesome involved. There you go. So Brandy puts a little worm in Maria's ear and tells her, "You know what? When that door opens up, you're number one on the target list, on Saya's target list, because of what happened to Yukio. Everyone knows you did it. Everyone knows you had the most motive. So as soon as that door opens, you're fucking dead." And she goes, "You know that you know, you probably want to take care of that." So what does Maria do? And of course, Juan's agreeing with her at this point, and also he's been putting this poison in her ear as well. And Maria decides to send out the word that, but you know, get ready for war. Essentially, is what she's telling the cartel kids. So she gets a little note and blows it underneath the door into Marcus's room, and it's actually a note for Marcus, which Victor picks up, reads, and promptly eats. He doesn't tell Marcus what it's about. He's actually being a dick about it at this point. And of course, since he can't get anything out of Victor at this point, he grabs the little air canister, because it has Freon in it. This is the 80s, remember, so it has Freon in it. And he's been trying to pick the lock the entire time, Marcus, to get out. And so what does he do? He tips the can upside down so he gets the Freon and just blows Freon onto the door, freezing it, and snaps the lock right on off. Yeah. He ends up heading outside and goes over the door to go and talk to Saya to let her know about what's going on. And Master Lin is right behind him and knocks him out. And he goes, he says, "What do you want out here?" kind of thing, and grabs him. So Lin straps Marcus to a chair and wants to know who killed Yukio and Chico at this point, because he knows Chico's dead. They has to be at this point. And Marcus is he basically tells Marcus, "You're the root of all my problems. Everything bad has been happening since you've gotten here." And he goes, "I want to know why. What the hell's going on?" And Marcus is still singing the same tune, going, "I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing's, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know who killed Yukio, who killed Chico, all this kind of stuff." So Lin starts showing him Marcus a family movie of his family. And Lin has a lot of shit on Marcus's family from when he was a kid, which makes us start wondering what the hell was Marcus's family into, or did Lin just do a lot of research and find some stuff? Because he starts talking about everyone will leave him at some point, and tells him that, you're jeopardizing your home that you're in. You're going to go back out in the street. And I don't know if he drugged him either at this point, because Marcus starts hallucinating stuff and starts seeing all kinds of shit. And it's really kind of messed up, to tell you the truth. So we go back to Gao, and Gao is releasing the students in groups for 5 minutes. They get to go out and eat. And she says, "Don't talk to anybody, or I'll have your tongues. Don't touch anybody. Otherwise, we'll take you aside," all that kind of stuff. And with that notice, Saya makes plans to kill Juan. Not Maria, but Juan at this point. And Shab, since he's in the room with Saya, knows what she's got planned. He starts stuffing books underneath his shirt in order to protect his soft parts, as he says. Basically, he's making a prison bulletproof vest, if you will. Phone books underneath, the clothing, all that kind of stuff. In the meantime, Brandy and Juan again get into Maria's head and said, "You know what? This is your opportunity. She's going to come out gunning for you. You better do something about it." And Maria is about to grab her fan, but instead she grabs her hair pick instead and puts that in her hair. And they all go out to go and eat. So while they're in line for food, we see Saya sees Juan and Maria up ahead in line there, and she looks at her girl there and starts moving ahead, and she's got her little shiv out. She had a little piece of plastic that she had broken off into a shiv, and she's going for Juan, and Maria blocks her. And Maria takes out her pick, and they start fighting. Who blocks it but Madame Gao? Madame Gao comes in, and she looks at Saya, and she goes, "This one you can let go. Her," she points at Maria, "comes with me. She's the poison in this whole group. She's the reason for everything that's going bad in here." She looks at her in her eyes and just knows it at this point. So she's taking Maria down the hallway, and Gao keeps saying that she's the cancer that's infected everyone. Marcus, Saya, Chico, everybody there in the school. And the only way to stop her malignancy is to cut it out. Some very strong words at this point from Madame Gao. In the meantime, Lin keeps forcing Marcus to watch these. He's got pictures of his family dead after the woman had jumped from Coit Tower onto his family. So they're lying in pools of blood on the concrete. And he's really fucking with Marcus's head at this point. And he says, everyone leaves you. And, you're going to lose this home if you keep lying to me. He goes, "You're going to go back out in the street." And Marcus finally breaks and tells Lin about Vegas and what happened with Chico, and how Diablo would kill her if he knew the truth. So that she ended up killing Yukio to frame him for that. And yeah, Lin's like, shit. So he ends up leaving Marcus to continue watching the movies, which is really kind of fucked up. And we go back over to Lex, Billy, and Petra. And Lex and Billy are reading the Kama Sutra and figuring out, well, if we did this position, then we wouldn't have to look at each other. And he goes, well, if I put my finger here and you put your hand there and this hole here, and And I love how Petra goes, you know what? I've done everything I can for myself. Now you guys need to make a decision. Are we in or are we out? And Lex is like, I don't think I'm ready for this kind of thing. I don't think I could do this. And, they're going back and forth. First, it's Billy doesn't want to do it. Then Lex doesn't want to do it. And, it's going back and forth at this point. And Lex admits to finally liking Petra a little bit. And she goes, yeah, I know. She goes, why do you think I admitted to doing this? She goes, I'm not going to fuck anybody that I just, that doesn't like me or doesn't respect me. She goes, yeah, so that's the reason why I'm doing this. So Lynn, we see, goes over to Diablo and tells him that Yukio killed Chico for dealing drugs on campus. Basically, it was a drug deal gone bad. That's the reason why Chico died. And that Yukio was killed as a result of that. And so everything is clear, cut and dry. Yukio acted on his own. No reason to send in the dogs. No reason for any more bloodshed. And he even brings up the fact, he says, I know what it's like to lose a child, even though he doesn't. And, basically that Diablo should back off at this point. And I don't think El Diablo believes him, but he acted like he did, and Lynn leaves at this point. So, yeah, and that supposedly ends it there at this point. Maria, in the meantime, is tied to a chair, and we've seen that Saya's room is open, has been left open, and her girl has gotten out with a knife, and she enters into the room and starts talking to Maria about how she knows she killed Yukio and how she's going to enjoy killing her and all this kind of stuff, and slashes her arm a little bit, and she's basically taunting her as she's going around the chair. And Saya bursts in, fights with her girl, and takes off the knife and lets her run. And says, yeah, is it true, is what she asked Maria. Did you kill Yukio? And she basically tells him that she tells Saya that Yukio betrayed her and went behind her back. And that's the reason why she had to kill Yukio. Which, is kind of fucked up. She lied to her again. She's been lying to everybody. Her lies are going to catch up to her at some point here. So we go back to the threesome of what's happening here. And Petra now at this point is just kind of fed up with it. And she says, look, when you're old, like 40, you're going to hate yourself for not doing this, is what she tells them. So they agree to do it. And she takes off her bra and she's lying back, and they're starting to kiss her and lick her and all this kind of stuff. And they get a knock at the door that it's their turn to go get food. She goes, great, I've been hungry. She goes, and plus there's too many conflicting emotions flying around here. And Lex goes, wait a minute. You mean conflicting emotions about us liking you, or, what's going on? She says, yes, and puts on a shirt and leaves. It's like, great. Wow. So Victor ends up taking the note info that he had eaten, and he and Brandy end up bringing it to Madame Gao. Yeah. And Madame Gao asks if they've told anybody else, of course, and they haven't. And she's going to use this information against Marcus now at this point. So Marcus is the target of Madame Gao. Also, it's one of Lynn's favorites, so she knows where to hit him at this point. So Maria and Marcus meet up in the graveyard. Everyone's up in the graveyard there, and Saya comes up too and basically tells Marcus that Maria basically served herself at this point. And make it be known that it's a lesson at this point. And that's pretty much what everyone there at that school is going to do. They're going to just help themselves. And he better learn from it. And she says this right in front of Maria too. And Maria doesn't basically deny it at all. Willie, in the meantime, he was actually going to go out on a date with Gabrielle, but of course got caught up in the lockdown. So he's dressed up really nice, and he's going to meet her, surprise her after work, which I don't know if that's going to go over well or not. Well, we'll see what happens next episode, if they're going to continue this or not. But he's going to go meet up after work and surprise her after work. So Marcus tells everyone, I didn't realize it before, but you guys are all my family, or the closest thing I have to family. And then he tells them the truth. He says, I have something I've got to tell you. I didn't kill those kids at the boys' home, but I released the guy who did. and he's got Chico's body, and we only have a certain amount of time before he actually before we have to find him, or we're all dead essentially for what happened in Vegas. And he drops that bombshell on them, and they're like, ah, shit. And that's where we leave off on the episode. Oops, excuse me. As I cough in your ear. Yeah, Pen Farm Girl. Brandy is a piece of work. Like I said, I really, really am interested in Brandy's backstory and Victor's backstory. I want to see what's going to happen there. Victor just seems very interesting. He doesn't seem, I know he talks the talk, but I have a feeling that he's a blowhard, kind of like Willie. And that's what I want to see of what's going to happen there. Pen Farm Girl says, I really thought she was just trying to scare them off. Boy, was I wrong. Yeah, she was not. Madame Gao was not trying to scare off people. So how many episodes are left? Mufinobi asks. I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. I believe there's 13 episodes, and we're on episode 8. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You got 5 more episodes. There we go. Pen Farm Girl says, I think I'm finally catching the dang bug. The guy who sits next to me has been coughing up a lung for weeks and claiming he isn't sick. Today I started feeling like crap. Yeah, there's a really nasty thing that's been going around work. So this viral pneumonia that I got, 3 other people that I know of at work, different locations, like faraway locations from where I'm at, actually got it. And yeah, it's some really nasty shit. A lot of new news is what Joe Greer says. Yes, there is. Finally made it, huh, Battle Marcus? Nice to see you here. I'm actually done with the review, Battle Marcus, but I'm here for the chat if you guys want to chat about it a little bit more. So let me take care of some business too before I get into the chat here. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button. If you don't like what you see, hit the dislike button. Either way. If you want to know when I'm going to be on next live, or when I'm on live, so you can get a notification, you get a 50-50 chance of being notified by YouTube. Hit that bell that's down here as well. And what that'll do is send you a notification that I'm on, or that I'm going to be on. There we go. If you're still on the fence, there's going to be a video that pops up in this area that is going to be culled from my video library that meets the algorithms of the stuff that you've watched the most. And it's going to make a match in that general location and pick a video out of my library and show you that. If you like that and you like what you see, hit the subscribe button over in this area. Excuse me. My schedule is up on my website, suspendedfanimation.com. It's also up on Facebook. I have a Facebook page for Suspended Fanimation. It's up there as well. And I have a Twitter and an Instagram as well. So Instagram, I need to get a little bit more cracking on that and put up some more photos and things. And again, of course, during Comic-Con, that thing's going to be loaded full of stuff. So keyboards and mice and everything. Pen Farm Girl says, I did like this episode. Not the best one, but still really good. Yeah, like I said, I'm really not sure exactly which one I like best. If I like the stuff I like the cameo stuff, I have to admit. Having the teachers coming in and the different teachers that they have, that like Haderdahl, of course, Henry Rollins, and French Stewart coming in. All those teachers that are coming in, these cameos are actually really good. French Stewart, of course, knocked it out of the park that last episode. I mean, give me some slack, motherfucker. I'm in the city. Which I thought was great. It's one of my favorite lines. Mark Shreo? Who is Mark Shreo? Joe Greer? Sorry, I'm blanking on that at the moment. Pen Farm Girl says, I thought it said season finale when they showed the clip for next week. I don't think so. I don't think they only ended on 9 episodes. You know what? Since I'm here, let's take a look and see what it is. We'll say Deadly Class. I always love doing this on the air, huh? Episodes. Season 1. It's not saying, it's just showing how many episodes in season 1. How about that? How many episodes in season 1? Yes, because that is always the best way of doing that. And it's saying it has mixed positive reviews. So who knows? And we're not seeing all of this. Episodes, there we go. And I guess it is only 9 episodes. All right, there we go. So Kids of the Black Hole is next week, and that will be the last episode of the season. Holy crap. That is 2 series that are going to be Project Blue Book is ending next week, and Deadly Class. Typing on a tablet. From Supernatural and BSG coming to Doom Patrol. Oh yeah, Mark Shepard. Mark Shepard, yes. I'm looking forward to Mark Shepard coming on to Doom Patrol. That's going to be interesting and fun. I didn't realize that next week was the season finale for this show. Hopefully it gets picked up. I mean, it's a good show. It's a lot of fun, and we'll see. They're probably going to do something shocking and doing cliffhanger-ish stuff. So with that said, thank you for those of you in the chat. Joe Greer III, Penn Farm Girl. I know Movie Fanogi was in here and had to leave. Battle Marcus 8, you finally made it. Great, thank you. And I believe that was it. That was in the chat here. So I didn't watch episodes 7 and 8, so I need to catch up. Yeah, you do, Battle Marcus. 7 was awesome. I really liked 7. That was a good one. And this one, 8, was pretty good. So there we go. You got a week to catch up, and then next week, of course, season 9. So what I've got going on this week, tomorrow is going to be a break day because, of course, a little movie comes out called Captain Marvel. I'm going to go and see that. I'm going to review it during Saturday morning blast off, I believe. It's not going to warrant its own. I'm pretty sure it's not going to warrant its own review, especially from everything I'm hearing about it so far. I'm just hearing periphery stuff. I'm not really looking into it all that much, but it's not sounding good. That's all I can say. Friday, of course, is going to be Doom Patrol and Gotham. It's going to be a doubleheader on Friday. Have you watched any of the classic stuff on DCU? You mean like Shazam and ISIS and the old Wonder Woman from the 70s? I haven't, but I'm going to go back and watch Shazam because I know they put Shazam up there. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I'm trying to figure out, Penn Farm Girl, if I'm going to do a spoiler review or a spoiler-free review on that one. I might just do a spoiler-free review. There's in the 70s, they used to do a lot of live action specials, if you will, on ABC for the Super Friends. So they did live action Super Friends shows with Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman and Robin. And then they had like Solomon Grundy and it was comedy. Yeah, exactly. That stuff's up there as well. Yeah, I know. I just haven't gotten into it yet. I may have to delve in. That was, I barely remember those things from when I was a kid. So I have to actually delve into it a little bit more and take a look at it. But with that said, take a look at the schedule. Take a look at the videos if you're on the fence here, and hit the subscribe button if you're going to subscribe. Other than that, I'm going to let you guys go for the evening. So don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, Shab may rifle through your stuff while you're not in the room. Talk to you later, everyone. Good night.